On Monday, September 18, 2023, the Senate relaxed its dress code. No longer was the Senate to require a dress code. Many people were very disappointed with the new ruling. So many that the Senate unanimously passed a formal dress code within 10 days of the ruling. This is a perfect example of how the communists are working to create a social revolution as advocated by Karl Marx in the Communist Manifesto, this time in the Senate. We often think that we cannot do anything about problems, but this serves as an example of when enough people protest, it can change very quickly. This country was built on a set of social norms which are breaking down. If you study the rise of communism, one of the programs used for changing a society into a communist state is to gradually change that society from its firm foundations and impose new norms on the people. In this manner, the people begin to accept change in all things, especially in their system of government. Over time, the moral norms of a country are changed by the acceptance of new norms. These are often imposed through the media and others behind the scenes that often carry a great deal of power. For instance, think back on the early days of television. How often would you have seen any public display of affection or reference to sexual preference? Looking back to the early 1900s, how many government incentives were there? Since President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal in 1933, incentive programs such as Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and many others have skyrocketed. These were major changes. What we have witnessed over time are many actions that have created these new norms. This domino effect causes an unstable society due to change after change. The next phase is where society as a whole starts to break down since it lacks stability. What we see happening in America are the moral norms changing due to this process. There is an inability to rely on just about any portion of society as an anchor in a stormy sea. John Adams, as well as the rest of the Founding Fathers, knew the importance of a moral society. He said, quoting, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other," unquote. We have seen the deliberate breakdown of morality, programmed in our schools, magazines, on television, radio, etc. Even certain conservative politicians no longer seem to be able to speak publicly without including swear words, which at one time were never said in polite or mixed company. Now we see and hear them on our radio, television, and social media. It is really irritating to see major conservative pundits using foul language as the norm. Crime has become rampant due to the policies of local and federal officials. By not punishing criminals, while at the same time curtailing the ability of local police to do their duties. The Bible has illustrated more than once the danger of acceptance of deviant sexual habits and the debilitating effect it has on the people. Yet we've begun to accept far too much of it publicly. Robert Welch used to quote Alexander Pope on occasion, and I think we need to refer to that quote once again. "Vice is a monster of so frightful mien, as to be hated needs but to be seen. Yet see too oft, familiar with her face, we first endure, then pity, then embrace." This is what has been happening with the LGBT agenda and other immoral practices. At first, we are repulsed, but with the constant attention paid to it by the mass media, too many are embracing the lifestyle, or at least tolerating it as being normal. There are many aspects of modern society which we could use as examples of the breakdown deliberately done by those who mean to rule us. The dress code in the Senate is another step away from decorum and civilized appearance, moving toward chaos in the Congress. Senator Fetterman presided over the entire Senate, wearing short-sleeved shirt, no tie, and shorts. Slovenly appearance leads to slovenly behavior. There will be those who feel that I am a bit old-fashioned, What I'm concerned about is the overall problem of the breakdown of society. None of the things we can discuss is so serious that we need to start a war over it. Altogether, it forms a pattern of changing society. That changing society makes communism more practical. Edmund Birch said this: "When bad men combine, the good must associate, else they will fall one by one in unpitied sacrifice in a contemptible struggle." He was saying that we need to organize, not simply complain about the problems. Another quote that our founder, Robert Welch, used to often use was that of James Anthony Froude: "Morality, when vigorously alive, sees further than intellect." We tend to concentrate on the problems of the system of government changing. We also need to do the same with societal norms. The way we do that is to personally uphold them. When we meet, we need to dress the part and set the example. In other words, be models of the social norms on which this country was built, not simply talk about what's wrong and how to fix it. And get involved, period. Don't complain about it.